We're back for another essential episode of TyTek Talks. I'm Matt Eckles, Marketing Director here at TyTek Industries, and I'm joined by my colleague Clint Brown, our Engineering Manager. And today we're going to look at turnkey product development and why does it matter? So Clint, tell me in really simple terms, what is turnkey product development?
A project is considered to be a turnkey project if you're basically given the entire project. So it could be multiple components or multiple stages of the project. It can be you're doing the fab work and the assembly work and the packaging, as opposed to just doing one of those tasks. So a lot of times, if a project is considered to be more siloed, you might have somebody that's doing the sheet metal fab, you might have somebody else that's doing some welding work, you might have somebody else that's doing your assemblies, and then at the very end you're sending it all to somebody else and they're packaging it up. Turnkey manufacturing brings all of that under one roof, and the advantage of doing that is that by having one supplier for all of those things, you eliminate the risk of any kind of miscommunication or parts not playing together correctly, not
Supply chain management.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about getting things from one place to the other. You know, and it can be a really big deal, especially whenever you're talking about packaging at the end, because if you're packaging something to send it to somebody else to package it, that's pretty redundant, really. Yeah. So in doing that, you know, you can kind of get some economies of scale that way. And but the really big thing is you end up having, you don't have the finger pointing if things don't play well together. If you've got a plastic lid going on a paper cup, ultimately, if that lid leaks, you're going to have two people pointing at each other saying, well, the cup was undersized or the lid was oversized.
And that's reputation gone as well.
Right, and that comes from personal experience, because I worked at a company that was producing the paper cup for Starbucks for their coffees, and we actually had to do their lid as well because they didn't want to have that finger pointing. They were a big enough customer. They said, no, if you're going to do one, you have to do both. And so some larger companies, they will actually mandate that if you're going to do any part of it, you have to do the whole thing. But that has to be a big company that mandates that. For us, we look at it from a standpoint of it's the right thing to do, because if you trust us to do part of it, we want to do all of it so we can, earn that trust and actually give you a product that has been through all of the phases, it's been through all of the testing as a completed unit, and it's going to work.
So beyond that accountability and an ever-increasing sort of tighter margins, why is that ideal for OEMs, would you say?
Again, it goes back to you're limiting your risk by having multiple. You have every supplier you add to your portfolio, you're increasing the risk on a project.
Yes.
Because it's that much more play, it's that much more transportation, it's that much more damage in transit, things get lost, whatever. There's countless risks that get introduced every time you add a new vendor into a chain.
Another area of jeopardy into the stack.
Exactly. So if you have it all in one place, you've eliminated all of those risks, and you've also increased the likelihood that everything's going to play well together, because it has to. It's coming from the same people. They're making all of those parts, and they're putting them all together and testing them just in the final assembly before it ever gets to the customer.
Sure.
So that's very big. That's not to say that, we're going to, if somebody comes to us and says, hey, we just want this part, we don't want you to worry about the rest of it, that we're going to turn them away. We're not going to do that. We play very well with others. We don't have a problem doing that. But what I would say is, if you don't have a supplier for another portion and we're doing part of it, I would strongly encourage you to give us a shot, because we're going to make sure that the people we use you're going to get a completed product at that point from us, and we're going to guarantee that all of it works.
Hugely beneficial, absolutely. So how does TyTek and your role in particular support all of those product life cycle stages?
Well, we can pick it up pretty well at any point. We can take it from, just a concept, kind of a back of the napkin sketch. We can take it from there all the way through. You've got a full spec sheet. You know exactly what you want. You just need somebody to help you make it. We can help with any point of that. We have SolidWorks. We can draft things up. We can solid model things and, send them to our factories. They obviously also have those capabilities. So as we're doing it, they can check it, or we can check yours and make sure everything's right. We do, PPRs all the time, which is a product print review. We do those all the time. We do PPAPs. We can do all of those different steps to ensure you're getting good quality parts. And, that's kind of where my bread's buttered, I guess, because that's kind of what I do, along with meeting the factories, going and viewing them, talking to them, figuring out, okay, what are your capabilities? What can you do? What can't you do? That way, whenever we get a request, we know, we can fill that.
Yeah, we can bring that home.
Yeah, we can absolutely
make it real.
Yeah.
So what results then have OEMs seen from partnering with TyTek?
Well, they get more consistent product. That's the first thing. A lot of OEMs, whenever they're looking for a part, they may not realize the nuances of that part. They may not realize that, if you get a magnet from, some online thing, you're going to get, inconsistent quality from shipment 1 to shipment 10. You'll never know what you're going to get. And we've had plenty of customers that have come in and said, I just can't get consistent quality. And we'll ask them.
In terms of color or fit,
a lot of time it can be anything. It can be maybe the fabric on a hard shell box that's getting wrapped around it. Maybe it's not tight enough. Whenever they first did one, the first prototype, it was beautiful, but then as it went through its product and they kept getting more and more, it got looser, more sloppy. All of that, seams weren't as good, and that comes from not knowing who's making it, not knowing where it's coming from.
And not having someone looking after it.
Right, exactly. And the thing with magnets is, a magnet, a lot of people, to a lot of people, a magnet is a magnet. But that's couldn't be further from the truth, because you have such wide variety, even within grades of magnets and types of magnets, that you have to have them inspected. They have to be tested, certified. And you can get magnets from the same supplier, or you think it's the same supplier, and one shipment varies wildly from the next. So what worked the first time doesn't work the second time.
And we've seen that with our own eyes, haven't we? When we visited a customer at a trade show recently.
Yes, we did. We were actually at the SHOT Show in Vegas, which was fantastic. But while we were there, we were actually able to visit one of our customers, and they actually showed us some of their product that had who we replaced, and as well as ours. And the difference was night and day. And the thing is, that quality is what they're going to get every time with us, because we'll make sure that those magnets, they pass inspection. It's a certified magnet factory. They are a licensed product, as opposed to, just a fly-by-night place.
Excellent. Clint, thank you for explaining that to us, and I'm sure our audience is going to find that really useful. And if you want to find out more, visit us at tytekindustries.com, and to sign up for exclusive content, the box will pop straight up. You can fill in your details and you'll receive our 11s at 11 o'clock at Friday every week. Thanks for watching.